Hey everyone, and welcome. We're here with an Alpha Constructions explainer on a piece of tech that honestly could completely rebuild the construction industry from the ground up. I'm talking about blockchain. Now, we're going to draw on some key ideas from the book Construction 4.0 to show you how this digital ledger is about way more than just cryptocurrency. It's actually about solving some of the biggest, most frustrating problems on any job site. Let's jump in.
So let me start with a question that probably hits a little too close to home for a lot of you. Why does it feel like almost every major project gets tangled up in disputes, blown past its deadline, and bleeds money? We've all been there, right? You see projects get bogged down, people start pointing fingers, and the budget just spirals. This isn't just a string of bad luck, it's a symptom of a much deeper systemic problem. All right, so here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to tackle the core challenges, the stuff everyone in construction knows all too well. Then we'll demystify what blockchain actually is. From there, we'll see how it creates a totally new foundation for trust. Then we'll get into the really cool stuff, some powerful, real-world examples, before we look ahead at what the future of building on the blockchain really holds.
Okay, let's get right to the heart of it. The root of so many of our problems is what you could call the data dilemma. Construction projects create an absolute mountain of information, but the way we've been handling it, well, that's often the source of our biggest headaches.
The fundamental issue is just how fragmented everything is. Think about it. Information is siloed off in different systems held by different teams in different formats. It creates this incredibly messy and inefficient process where data is all over the place, you can't trace who did what and when, and supply chains are basically a black box. And what's the result? Misunderstandings, costly mistakes, and, you guessed it, constant disputes. The system almost feels like it was designed to create friction.
So how in the world do we start to fix this mess? Well, this is where blockchain comes in. Now, I know when you hear that word, your mind probably jumps straight to Bitcoin or some other crypto, but its potential is so much bigger than that. You have to stop thinking of it as a currency and start thinking of it as a revolutionary new way to keep records.
At its core, blockchain is actually pretty simple. It's basically a digital ledger. Think of it like a shared notebook that every key person on a project has a copy of. Every transaction or piece of information gets recorded as a block. But here's the magic trick. These blocks are linked together using some seriously powerful cryptography. And once a block is added to that chain, it's immutable. It cannot be changed. It cannot be deleted, ever. So how does it stay so incredibly secure? Well, that's the chain part of blockchain. The best way to picture it is like a set of digital dominoes. Each new block of information isn't just added to the end, it's cryptographically linked to the one right before it, creating this permanent, unbreakable chain. If someone tried to go back and secretly change an old record, that cryptographic link would shatter. The entire chain would break and the tampering would be obvious to absolutely everyone on the network. It's a system that basically polices itself.
So the process itself is pretty straightforward. First, a transaction happens. Let's say a shipment of steel beams is approved on site. That event gets recorded. Then it's verified by the network participants. And finally, it's packaged into a new block, which is then permanently chained to the ledger for all to see. It creates a single, undeniable record of what happened and exactly when it happened.
And this right here brings us to the real game changer for the construction world, building a true foundation of trust. By creating a single shared source of truth that everyone can see and verify, we can start to eliminate all the ambiguity and miscommunication that cause so many problems on our projects. So, what does this new foundation actually give us? Well, you get immutability, which means no more arguing over who agreed to what. You get traceability, which gives you a perfect, unchangeable audit trail for everything. And you get transparency, which means everyone, the client, the architect, the contractor, is looking at the exact same data at the exact same time. Think about the classic dispute over a change order. With blockchain, the request, the approval, the cost, the timestamp, it's all logged immutably. There's no more debate. It replaces he said, she said with the ledger says. It fundamentally shifts the dynamic from needing to trust someone to simply being able to verify.
Okay, this all sounds fantastic in theory, right? But what does it actually look like on a real construction site? Let's dive into some of the most exciting real-world applications.
First up, and this one is potentially the most powerful application of all, is the rise of smart contracts.
So what is a smart contract? It's basically a self-executing agreement written in code. Just imagine a contract that automatically pays a subcontractor the second an IoT sensor confirms that their part of the job is finished to spec. That's it.
No chasing invoices, no processing delays, no payment disputes. The code simply executes the terms of the agreement the moment the real-world conditions are met. It's automated, it's instant, and it's unstoppable. Next up is something absolutely critical for quality control and sustainability, ensuring the integrity of our supply chains. Right now, tracking materials from the factory to the job site can be an absolute nightmare. But with blockchain, every single step of a material's journey can be recorded permanently on that ledger. You can instantly verify its origin, its carbon footprint, its quality certifications, everything. This means no more counterfeit materials sneaking onto a high-spec job. And it creates a clear digital passport for every single component, which, by the way, is a massive step towards a true circular economy in construction. So the potential here is obviously huge. But let's be realistic, we're not quite there yet. Let's finish up by taking an honest look at the road ahead, both the hurdles we still need to clear and the incredible future we're building towards. Of course, there are some very real challenges. There's still a big knowledge gap, and let's be honest, some vested interests might not be thrilled with this level of transparency. But the potential is just staggering. We're talking about true end-to-end collaboration, completely automated project workflows, and even brand new ways of running companies, like DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, which are basically organizations run by code and community vote instead of a traditional hierarchy. At the end of the day, this is the ultimate goal: to use blockchain to make a digital file, whether it's a BIM model, a contract, or a change order, as unique, secure, and undeniable as a physical object. You can't just counterfeit a specific steel beam that's already in the building. And soon, you won't be able to counterfeit or dispute its digital record either. And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about. Is the future of construction going to be built on the kind of human trust we've relied on for centuries, or is it going to be built on a new kind of trust, one that's guaranteed by transparent, verifiable, unbreakable code? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for watching.